Dear brothers and sisters, as we all gather here today, we all want to lead lives which are calm and peaceful. And in the last maybe 40 to 50 years, many people in the West have been trying to use the techniques of calming ourselves, whether you call it meditative techniques or sitting in silence, to be able to find some peace and calm in the very hectic life that we all need. And so as we try to find peace for ourselves, we realize that being peaceful ourselves is what makes life better for each and every one of us. Many times it's very easy for us to tell others to be peaceful, but then when we introspect and we take a good look at ourselves, if we are in turmoil, then we bring turmoil to the atmosphere where we are spending our time. There could be still water in a pond, and it's very still, and then a pebble falls in there, and the ripple effect goes all over the pond. And so, if we are not stilled ourselves, then we will find that difficulties are going to always come in our life. And so the meditative techniques, which are to still our body and then to still our mind, have been used for thousands of years in the East. And in the last few decades, those techniques have been explored by many people in the West too. And as we explore the meditative techniques, what becomes loud and clear is that it's very easy to quieten the body, to make the body still. You know, we in the human body are operating through our physical senses. So a sense of sight, a sense of hearing, a sense of smell, a sense of taste and sense of touch. They are the ones which have us communicate with everyone else. We, through these senses, are interacting with all others who live in this physical world also. And so as we do that, we are getting inputs into our system through the senses. And as those inputs come into our being, we start to relate to them. And this is how our life goes on. And so to still the body where these inputs into our system are not disturbing us, are not taking our time, is very easy. Finding a quiet place, sitting down, closing our eyes, we can withdraw these five senses very easily. The difficulty that comes in any one of the techniques that we use is how do we still our mind? As soon as the body is stilled, we realize that thoughts start to come to us, and as soon as that happens, then we have no mechanism of stopping those thoughts. Now, the thoughts could be about the present time, as to what we're doing. The thoughts could have been of the past, what have happened a day before, 2 days before, a week before, few weeks before. Thoughts could also be of the future, as to what are we planning, what kind of meetings do we have set up, what kind of appointments do we have, where do we need to take our children so they can grow properly. And so any kind of a thought that we have is taking our attention and putting it into the thought. And our attention, which we need to put into an area which will be calming, is gone because many of the thoughts that we have are either of the difficult times that we had in the past or of uncertainty of the future. And so these are always creating turmoil in our life. And so saints and mystics have always talked about stilling the mind. And to be able to get to a state where when the body is stilled and the mind is stilled, then the realities of our existence, which is our soul, can experience it of itself. And our soul is calm, our soul is peaceful, our soul is loving, our soul is conscious. And so as we start to relate to our soul, we will find that peace will automatically start to happen in our lives. Many saints and mystics have written about how do we get to a state where we are peaceful. So Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj, who wrote much about the spiritual way, and he wrote much about our interactions with the divine, the purpose of our existence, which is to be one with the Creator. Through the verses, he's explained aspects of the spiritual path or the journey towards God, giving examples of the times in which he was physically here. And so I'd like to take a verse of Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj, which we haven't talked about before. I've been trying to take verses by Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj, which many of them were written in the Urdu language. So we're trying to translate as many as we can into English. And we find every time we look at his verses, we find something new. This is a very interesting verse, okay? Because it talks about something which many of you might have never heard of, okay? It says, रकीबे फिलाजू तक ए सबा ये बात पहुंचा दो. रकीबे फिलाजू तक ए सबा ये बात पहुंचा दे कि हम अहले दियारे अमन हैं, झगड़ा नहीं करते. कि हम अहले दियारे अमन हैं, झगड़ा नहीं करते. So this has some very interesting words in it. In the first line, the word rakibe. Rakib is a very interesting word in that language, and it has many, many, many shades of meanings. The interesting thing from Urdu is that the word has many meanings, and when you add something to it, the meaning change, and they go in another direction. And so, this is coming from the times from the past. So one of the great meanings of Rakib is as follows. In the old times, and sometimes in these times too, when children would go to be a little older, then the children want to go out with someone. They want to go and see someone. They want to, let's say, go for a picnic, or they want to go for a trip, or they want to go someplace. And the parents are kind of afraid to let the children go by themselves. So they send someone with the child. Okay? And this person that they send with the child is there to check that the children are kept well, that they don't get into any trouble. Okay? And so as the child has an opportunity to go out of the house and, let's say, be with friends or meet someone or do something, there's always someone who's watching them. Okay? So most children don't like that because they can't do what they want and they know that someone's watching them. Okay? So Rakib is the person who has that job. So the kids think this is our enemy. Okay? Why? Because the kids think, boy, we have a chance to go out, but why is this guy there? And if I talk to this person, I know that, and then they come and, no, don't meet with these guys, and don't do this and don't do that, and all that kind of stuff. The other word here is sabah. It's a very interesting word also. This is coming from the times when we did not have that much power. And so in that part of the world, there wasn't air conditioning. Okay? It was not available. And so Most people, and in the summertime it gets very hot in the eastern part of the world, and so most people would sleep outside of their homes. Okay, if you live in, like, let's say, two-story, if you're in the lower story, if you're on the ground floor, you would come out of the house and you put up a cot. We call them charpais. So you have those cots there, and sometimes it got so warm, and the warm breeze will even flow all through the night, that you would, before you go to sleep, you'd go outside, you would take some water, you'd sprinkle it on the ground, so that all of that ground, which is very hot, is going to give you some cool feeling, and then try to sleep. And then somewhere in the morning, just close to dusk time, the breeze will start to get a little cool. And that cool breeze will hit your body and you feel, wow. It felt so good. Because here everything is so warm. And so that breeze has been given a special name, and that's called Sabha. So Sabha is the breeze that comes in the early morning, which is a cooling breeze, so that the heat is being dissipated. And another meaning of the word Sabha is also very interesting. Now, this is all poetry, and so those of you who are literature majors or who've done, studies in the arts and the literature, you'll maybe understand this better. Poets are always thinking of ways by which they can present a point of view through some examples. Okay. So the poets from that time have taken the word Sabha, and this, because it's a wind that comes in the morning, it's been used as a messenger. And so the word Sabha is used as a messenger, which is taking a message from you to someone else. Okay? And the poets who wrote in the love of God are always talking of Sabha as a message, as either going from a seeker to God or from God to the seeker. Okay? So because it's wind, it's air, and it blows from one place to another, so the understanding is that, okay, it can take a message from one place to another. Okay? So in this verse, which is Rakibe Filaju Tak Aisaba Ye Baat Pahuncha De. So basically saying that please send this message. It's telling this early morning wind, Sabha, which in English would be, O Zephyr, send this message to those who cause conflict. Because the Rakib guy is always causing conflict. Because the young person wants to be calm, wants to be peaceful, wants to be with their loved ones, wants to spend some time with their own people. And the Rakib is saying, no, this is not good and this is not good. And he's like giving guidelines. So as soon as you have guidelines, you have conflict. Because as an individual, you want to do what you want to do, okay? And if you have to live under rules and regulations, then there's going to be conflict. So what is very interesting is Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj in this verse is sending a message. It's saying, oh, the morning breeze, please send this message to those who are creating conflict. Okay? Because no one wants conflict. There's conflict, there's an argument, then there's going to be tension. If there's tension, there's more turmoil, There's no stability. If there's no stability, you can't meditate, you can't stay still. You need to calm yourself down. So he's saying, tell those who are creating conflict. He's saying that we, means like, we who are from the city of peace. So English translation, we are citizens of the city of peace and do not quarrel. So Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, as he wrote this verse, he's trying to make us understand that if we are peaceful and if we don't get into conflict, we stay away from conflict, then life would be calm and peaceful for us. And so others, if they want to bring conflict into our life, we need to tell them to stop it. We have them in a state where they're not bringing conflict to us. So how does it relate to the spiritual? We can look at the mundane. The beauty of the verses of Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj is there are meanings after meanings after meanings in each one of his verses. So the more you dig in, the more you understand the verse. So when we look at the outer level, it would be, we live in a world where there's a lot of turmoil. There are many people who bring turmoil into our lives, and many people who are bringing conflict into our life. And so for us to be calm and peaceful, we need an environment which is also peaceful. And so this is like a request to those who bring conflict. Hey, please don't bring conflict into our life. We are peaceful people. We want to be peaceful. So let us be peaceful and don't create any difficulties for us. So that's the meaning you would understand if you just look at it at this level. If you dig deep into it, you'll understand many more meanings. At the spiritual level, we really are not the body or the mind, we are the soul. Okay? And our soul is totally peaceful because our soul is a part of God. God is an ocean of all consciousness, God is an ocean of all love, God is an ocean of all peace. And so our soul, being a drop of that ocean, is also full of peace, it's totally peaceful. Okay? But the soul is residing in the body, the soul is giving life to the body. As long as the soul is in this human body, and this body works. As soon as the soul leaves the body for good, never to come back into the human body, then this body becomes useless, can't work, and we say the person is dead. Okay? So the soul is what is giving life to the body. Okay? And God has been very gracious to give us this human existence, because all the faculties that are required by us to know God have been provided in this physical frame. So all human beings have an opportunity to know God. We have a birthright to know God. Okay? And so the body is just a vehicle for the soul to connect back with God. And this is why the human existence has been called the roof and crown of all creation. Okay? And so the soul, which is totally peaceful, which is giving life to the body, as it wants to know God, because this is its opportunity to know God, it finds that in the body there's also the mind. And the mind is a lover of enjoyments. The mind doesn't want us to know God. The mind wants our soul to be transmigrating on the wheel of transmigration. And so the mind's activities are to bring turmoil into our life, to bring strife into our life, to make conflicts in our life, so that we don't get to be peaceful to go towards God. Okay? So Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj through this was actually telling us that the soul is sending a message to the mind, and the message is going through the light and sound of God. The light and sound of God is what is the sabha. It's the light and sound of God are the two primal manifestations of God. Okay? In the East, there's the saying by Kabir Sahib, it says, Awwal Allah, Noor Paya, Kudrat ke sab bande, Ek Noor the, Sab jab uja, Kaun bale kaun mande. So saying there was God in the beginning, and from God came this creative power, whether they call it Noor, or light and sound, or Naam, or Shabd, or the holy word. And with that, all creation came into being. So Kabir Sahib saying, who are we to say this is higher and this is lower and this is good, this is bad? Everything coming from God is good. Okay? And that's the vision of the saints. And so The light and sound of God is the creative power. It starts from the Creator and brings all creation to being. So as it comes in, it's created various regions of existence. Okay? And it's there within each and every one of us to connect with. We have this single or a third eye. We connect our sensory currents there, then we have an opportunity to connect with the light and sound of God. So by that connection, we can send a message back to God. Okay? And we can also send a message to the mind, which is coming from the third plane. God the Creator is in such kind of, in our beliefs, from the fifth plane. And so here, a message is being sent to the mind. And what is the message? That we are citizens of the city of peace and do not quarrel. And the mind which brings conflicts in our life, a message is being sent. Oh mind, don't bring any conflict to us. Why? Because we are from the city of peace. We are peaceful at our core. And that peace needs to be there for us to be able to experience life as we should be experiencing. So any conflict that you bring is distracting us from our goals. And so Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj is telling us that as we start to meditate, as we experience the divine light and sound of God, as we go on the spiritual journey, is then that we start to realize who we truly are. And when that happens, then there's only calm, there's only peace, there's only bliss. And so one of the great meanings of this verse, I think, is that the soul, which is peaceful, which is calm, it wants to stay in that state. And the turmoil that comes because of the mind, and through the mind which sends desires into us, through the desires being trying to fulfill them, we get involved in all kinds of activities. If we don't get fulfilled, we get devastated. So this is all a system set up by the mind so that we're always in conflict. Okay? It's to get to a state where it says, okay, we are going to be peaceful, we don't care what we do. Please don't bother us. Don't send any conflict to us. Many of us must remember the story of Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha one day was invited by someone, and he went there, and his disciples went with him too. And when he went, he was invited for dinner at someone's house. So when he went there, the host started criticizing Lord Buddha. And he criticized one after another, he kept on going. And the disciples of Lord Buddha getting very upset. And so as this person going on and on and on, they got very upset, and they were ready to start to get the person and hit him. But Lord Buddha stopped them. And so when they left, Lord Buddha left, his disciple asked him, this person has been saying so many bad things about you, and why didn't you let us just stop him? So Lord Buddha made a very interesting comment, says, the gift that he was given me, I did not accept. So where do you think the gift remains? With the person who's there. So if we are peaceful ourselves, and we don't accept the turmoil, we don't accept the conflict, then we're going to remain peaceful. And that's what Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj is telling us, that we can stay away from conflict. We are peaceful at our core. We need to experience that peace by ourselves. It's not only listening to it or hearing about it. It's like experiencing it. And the experiencing the peace comes as we meditate and as we go within. Another way of understanding this verse is, when we talk about we are citizens of the city of peace and do not quarrel, is to realize that our mind, our physical mind, its home is in the third plane. It's a part of call. So Pind, And and Brahman, like physical, astral, causal. And the mind only goes till the causal level, and after that is the super causal and Sachkhand, or the region of all truth, which is Par Brahman and Sachkhand. And so the saints have said that the mind is very, very powerful. So if you try to fight with the mind, you're not going to win. Okay? And so the saints have said we should befriend the mind. And we should try to have the mind understand that its home is not in this physical plane. Its home is in the third region. So we should convince the mind that it also is away from its true home. It needs to go to the third plane to be at home. And so if we befriend the mind, then the mind becomes a companion as we go on the spiritual journey. And so that's another way of understanding this too, that the the soul is always peaceful, okay? And whatever it does, it wants to do calmly and peacefully, and you do it in a friendly manner. You don't confront anyone. If you do get into conflicts, you are not going to be able to gain on the spiritual path. So you need to be calm, you need to be peaceful, so you need to be friendly. And so the soul, which is peaceful, it's asking the mind to be friendly. Hey, don't bring any conflicts to me. Let's be friendly. Let you also go to your own home. And so that we can be back in our true places. And so there are quite a few ways of understanding this verse. And as we get a better understanding of the verses written by Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj or by any other saint or mystic, we find that each verse gives us another insight into the spiritual path. Each verse, when understood properly, can make us reach our goals. And as we are all here in this human body, the goal for each and every one of us is the same. And that goal is to truly know ourselves and to know God. And God is not out there in the sky. God is with each and every one of us, and we all have a birthright to know God. Whether we're born in one culture, whether we're born in one country, whether we follow one faith, it doesn't matter. We're all children of God, and we all have a birthright to know God. So we all can know God in this lifetime. It's a question of where we focus our attention. God is within us, not on the outside, so our attention needs to go within. And that's what meditation is all about. It's taking our attention from the world outside and focusing it within ourselves. And as we focus our attention within, then with time and with effort on our part and with help and guidance from the Creator, we'll be going on the spiritual journey, a journey of light, a journey of love, a journey which brings us more peace and more peace and more peace as we take steps towards finding our oneness with God. So let us just meditate for a few minutes. Please sit as comfortably as you can. Close your eyes very gently, just like you close them when you go to sleep. Your eyeball should be straight, focus 8 to 10 inches in front of you. And as you close your eyes, those of you who have been initiated in the mysteries of the beyond, please do your Simran. And those of you who are new here, please repeat any name of God that you feel comfortable with. This repetition of God's name should be done mentally and not out loud. I pray to God Almighty to help each and every one of us connect with the divine power within and to experience the divine light in its effulgence. I will be sitting for a few minutes. I'll be getting you out of this meditative state. And may the blessings of the three great spiritual masters of past century, Hazur Baba Sawan Singh Ji Maharaj, Param Sant Kripal Singh Ji Maharaj, and Dayal Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, be with each and every one of you, and may you be guided towards your goal at God's speed. Please leave off. Please leave off.